All right, it's 6:30, ladies and gentlemen. A motion and a second to open the meeting, please. Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it. All those in favor, aye. Let's start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we have our minutes from the December 16th meeting. Any questions, any concerns, any changes? All right, if there's no questions or concerns, I'll make a motion in a second to approve the December 16th minutes. Joe makes the motion, Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Next, we have our organizational meeting minutes from January 6th. Questions, concerns, recommended changes? If we're ready to go, I'd like a motion in a second, please. Tim makes the motion, Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Minutes passed. I want to point out something, so we're going to briefly, where you have your financials for the month of December, if you could pull out the sewer and the highway financials. So we'll start with the sewer financials, and you'll see, okay, that I authorized, this was December 5th, I authorized, okay, a loan from the sewer department to the highway department of $18,000. And then if you look a little further down, okay, you can see that on December 18th, okay, that $18,000 was repaid to the highway department. So that was a loan that I authorized. The board retroactively approved that, but that was to meet payroll. And then when you look at the highway department, you can see that on December 5th, the $18,000 was transferred in to the highway department. And then by December 18th, okay, it was transferred back to the sewer department. That's highly unusual when something like that happens, but I just want to make that, the board knows about it, the public here knows about it. This was entirely, as a chief financial officer, I can do this. As long as people can see what happened, okay, in writing. Any questions? I just wanted to point that out. It was done, and then it was corrected. Concession payments, eviction process, all right. 3 letters were sent out with a deadline of January 31st. These 3 parties were in arrears for 23-24 and for 24-25. 2 of the parties, all right, responded to the letter. They made a payment plan and their payments have come in for January, and they both have a plan where they'll be paid up by May and June of this year. There's a third party, all right, that we have not heard from, which had the eviction notice. And that individual has to the 31st of January, okay, to respond to us. So that's what we're doing there. And then I'm gonna get advice from Matt McCardle, okay, if indeed we have to go forward with an eviction process. Any questions there? All right, if there's no questions, we'll move on. Bus garage contract. I'm planning to conference with Wayne Walbridge, because originally both the school board as well as this board, we tentatively, separately had agreed that the lease agreement or the rental agreement, whatever, was gonna be $26,000, okay? So we have to integrate. Right now, the current payment plan will only bring the town board $25,000. So I'm gonna start my talks with the school board to integrate that last $1,000, okay, into a payment scheme of some sort. And then kind of start initial talks, okay, about what we're gonna do for 24-25, because the contract goes with the fiscal year of the school, which is July 1st, okay, to June 30th. So we're working on that. Any questions there? All right. FEMA meetings, all right? Roger and I am spending, once a week, we meet with the state as well as the federal FEMA, okay, officials. We met the February deadline to file all of our damage inventory. Our next task will be to assign monetary amounts, okay, to each of those claims. And so our goal is to have that done for this Thursday, because we have another meeting with FEMA. So we're moving forward with that process. It'll be very interesting as to what happens, because there's talk from the president, okay, that he wants to get rid of FEMA. So we'll see what happens, okay, in the future. Any questions there? All right, something that we're very concerned about, okay, the AUDs or the AFRs, which they're called now, all right, that the one for 2021 has been submitted. I have been assigned a portal, okay, with the controller's office, all right, so I can go in there and see what's happening.
Oh.
All right, but I cannot see when 2020, okay, I'm gonna have to call somebody in the controller's office. It says that it's there, okay, and it's okay to go on with 2021, but it doesn't give me the time when it was submitted and when they said it was okay, meaning the controller's office.
But they let us submit 21.
Yes, so that
That's
means
a good- that's a
2020 is acceptable as far as they're concerned, okay?
Right.
And so it's been submitted, all right? And I have all the paperwork on it, and I have access to the portal.
So are they working on the next year now?
I'll find out. I did not ask that question. But they should get it ready.
Yeah, because if we've submitted 21, as soon as they accept that, we should be able to.
Send 22 if it's
Correct.
totally prepared.
Correct. So hopefully they're working on
Well, I'll get an answer to that.
it. Okay.
But that's what's happening there. Any other questions? Moving on to the water and sewer report, okay? We were having problems with the furnace down in the sewage treatment plant. It required, okay, 3 visits. Things were just cleaned the first time. Second time, a pump was replaced. And then in the third visit, all right, the transmitter, which is the spark, okay, to ignite the fuel, was replaced. And now the furnace is up and running properly. But it took us 3 visits to get that squared away. So that was one thing that's going down, that's been fixed, okay, in the sewage treatment plant. Any questions on that? B, you see new testing materials, all right? You should change the new to replacement testing materials. And this came upon the recommendation of Tony LaRue, all right? So there's a testing system that measures the input of the sewage that comes in. And then there's a second testing system that tests the outflow of the sewage as it leaves the sewage treatment plant. And so according to our requirements with the DEC, this test is done once a month on both ends. And a sample is taken every hour over a 24-hour period. And again, this is 1 day a month. So this is machinery that's of high caliber that could measure this, because it's set up and then it does its job on the given day. So one of these, I can't remember if it was the outflow or the inflow, the system needed to be replaced. So you're going to see a bill, okay, for almost $6,000, and that's replacing that system. And we have to do this once a month.
Is that also in the winter?
Yes,
Okay.
12 months, it's done every month. So that you can see there's a large bill, okay, but one system is down, and you have to have both systems up and running.
Do we know how long that system was down?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But again, I think it was in between, okay, you know, it's once a month. I think it was, you know, it made it 1 month, but then it went down, so we got it together for the next month. I don't think we missed the test. I'll double check on that though. Any questions? Any questions on that item? I'm going to add a C, okay? For a lot of different reasons, and it's basically part of the nature of our society today, okay? Roger and I think it would be a good idea, all right, to solicit quotes for new locks. We've got here in the town hall, but in the highway department, the water department, the sewer department, and any other place where we have locks. We should change the locks, and then we should look at security systems. There is no security system in the pump house or the sewage treatment plant. And the ones here in front of this building, I don't think are working. So this is something that I think we should go ahead and do. And then we're going to get quotes for this. Okay, so we're not going to go ahead full speed ahead and just buy something. We're going to try to get the best possible system at the most economical thing. You want to add anything with that, Roger?
They're getting the system at the adult cemetery.
You know who,
No, but Diane is involved.
okay,
Check with her.
okay,
The only thing I can really add is the biggest purpose for this is not just for security, but it's also for safety. We have employees that are down there by themselves, different facilities, working odd hours at times. So at least we know when they come and go, just for, if they never leave the facility, somebody can go check on them. Notifications need to be, so that's my biggest purpose for this, is for safety.
it's a good point.
And also with bioterrorism these days, with our water and sewer plants, it's critical to make sure that those are safe and secure.
I would say
Sad.
anything could happen at any time
Right.
Absolutely.
in the state of the world.
Mahoney is what the town has traditionally used for service as well, for security.
Is that the company in Canton?
Yes.
We have them here. That's the alarm company we have right here at the building.
Right.
Any other questions or any other points? All right, Roger, you're up.
Really don't have much again this month. Plowing snow, maintaining the streets, doing quite a bit of maintenance on the equipment, keeping it running, miscellaneous stuff, so on and so forth. But, yeah, it's just basically plowing roads.
Have we used a lot more sand and salt because of all the snow, or?
Actually, the way I set the plows up when we changed the sanders, we're sanding double passes on all our roads and using less sand to do it. We have increased the salt this year just because of the cold weather. We budgeted for it this year, so we're trying to keep the sand from freezing up, and we're also keeping the Main Street and Lake Road bare 99% of the time, which is saving on accidents.
Perfect. It's good news.
To an extent, some people are not happy that the roads are brown, 24/7. Snowmobilers have a little bit of an issue with that, but there's still snow there for them this year, so Jim shouldn't be too unhappy with us. We're leaving some snow on the Woodland Road.
He's trailering everywhere.
Is he?
Just to point out, let's go back 3 or 4 years. Many times County Route 5 from this corner to the Dickinson line, sometimes it was a sheet of ice. All right? And you've taken excellent care. I don't see sheets of ice there. Okay? You're using the correct blend of sand and salt, okay? And that's a nice difference, Roger.
We're trying. We're trying.
Action items, okay? So Debbie pointed out, okay, it should be resolution 32 and 33. I'm off by one. So resolution 32, Dave Burrow is our assessor. It was pointed out to us, okay, in December that he wasn't appointed. And this is a special year because he's retiring at the end of the day on September 30th, 2025. And so you can see in your board packet, okay, is his resignation letter. So that's why we are only appointing him, okay, from January 1st, okay, through September 30th. And then his salary will be prorated, okay, because he's only going to work 9 months, all right? It was $14,000 and then it's prorated to $10,770. So we'll probably have to start advertising in a short period of time for a new assessor.
Probably should shortly because we have a hard time finding them.
Right. I saw another township, I think, in the Telegram, had an ad for an assessor. So they can find that ad and parallel it. The other thing that Dave Burrow brought up is we probably should have, and that should be a month or two, hopefully find the successor to maybe start August 1st, so that there's a transition for at least 2 months. If 2 months is too much, but it should probably be at least a month of transition between the new and the old. So that's another thing we should plan for. Any other any questions there? We need a motion and a second, so we can vote on this. Jill makes the motion, Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next is resolution 33, the appointment of Joe Cole as Beaver Control Officer at $1,500 for 2025. And this is something we agreed on in 2024, but I'm just making sure it's on the record for 2025. Motion second. Jim makes the motion. Jill seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. The next is this is Larry Fraser, Judicial Financial Report for 2024. All right, we were supposed to look at it, check it over, and then there has to be a formal approval of that by the board. And then I send his paperwork in the board minutes, all right, that we approve his financial report for 20.
You'll need a resolution for that too, to go with it.
So it should be resolution 34. Well, we can just change that. Resolution 34, possible approval of judicial financial report. A question, Cindy?
No, I'll make the motion.
She makes the motion. A second? Tim seconds it, okay? All those in favor? Aye. All right, we're looking at the Manual Enterprises bill from October 2023. In the December meeting, we decided as a board to send this to the attorney and seek the attorney's advice. So we have received something from the attorney, a thorough letter. Matt McCardle, our attorney, reminded me, okay, this is client, okay, attorney confidential. So I'm not going to read the entire letter publicly, but every board member has a copy of what the attorney recommends. I believe he did a very thorough job in answering our question. Any questions or concerns?
Well, going back to when this all started, and I want to bring it back to 2023 when I first started, and Claire was here, before you were here, Jim, that we had agreed to pay all the past bills. I've read what the attorney said. You can get a lawyer to write anything you want. We knew about the conflict of interest. We knew about everything that was going on, and the board as a whole voted to pay all of our outstanding bills. That has since changed till we got to here.
This is a change.
Yeah, a big change, but a change that we as a board had voted, and now it's at this point again, coming around again for a vote we pretty much made on paying all the past bills. And I'll stay straightforward. If you vote not to pay them, I'm going to go against it. Because it's a small community, and that's originally how we brought this about. If we go after anybody, I honestly believe we should go after Chad. And you can legally do it for misappropriation or whatever he did wrong. But I'm not going to punish someone for doing a job. Now, if you say, okay, he didn't deliver the goods or they weren't there, but that was not an issue when we brought this up. There was stuff brought, we had the storm was washed away a lot of the stuff, But as a whole,
And that's
No,
the
no, the
storm.
storm didn't have anything to do with this.
with this,
Right.
This is
this
gravel.
is the Shanley Road, isn't it?
Yes, but it wasn't a storm.
This is repair work.
This
It was repair of the Shanley Road.
Right,
In
but it
the
was
summer of
before the repair was
2023.
finished. When he
No.
put it in, we had that storm that washed all of Shanley Road away after. Had to be redone.
Yeah, but it didn't have any, it was just a repair of the road. It
Right.
didn't have anything to do with the storm.
Right, it was on the way to get CHIPS funds, and Ernie had said, Bobby had agreed to wait till the CHIPS funds came in.
Yes, but it didn't have anything to do with the storm. But yes, it was just a
Yes.
repair job.
And it was used on other roads too. When we have our own gravel.
Anybody else?
When I voted on, because you're right, we all did vote to
Yep.
pay it,
And then this was brought to a lawyer after we voted.
yes. But in reading what he had said, I
Like I said, I would go after Chad.
don't see how we could possibly pay it after reading what he says. I don't know how anybody else feels.
According to what the lawyer's saying, I say no. I mean, I get the whole
Yep.
small town.
Because
thing,
I did
but
vote, I
can't-
did vote to pay him, but after reading this, I couldn't, I think I was wrong in saying that we should pay him after reading this.
Mhm.
I don't know how Jim feels.
I feel the same way. If he disagrees, then he could get his attorney and go after us. If that, I don't, is that in the board minutes? That was voted on, and we're gonna pay them before.
You gotta go, I gave you the February 2024 minutes, and we kind of talked about the possibility of repaying.
But in reading this, I mean, there's 4 issues that he brings up where it said we should not pay him. And so I certainly am not gonna go against an attorney.
Ernie, in February, was there a motion to pay everything?
I don't think, you just,
It was before February.
there was a discussion there,
No, you weren't.
okay? There wasn't a motion.
No.
I don't think there was a motion in
It was
February
Farrell.
2024. I don't think there was a motion. There was just a discussion, I believe.
But even if it's a discussion or a motion, if it's something that is wrong, unethical, illegal, however you want to put, whatever it is, then we need to change it.
Going back, okay, this is February, okay, of 2024. I had gone to the conference, okay, for the Association of Towns, all right? And then I emailed an attorney down there, all right? And I can recall, she said, follow your procurement policy. All right?
Yes, I remember.
And then we went against that, okay? And I remember Clara kind of chastised me because I got the association's attorney to give us an answer, and I didn't go to Matt McCarroll for an answer.
Correct.
Okay, and she did do that, and that's okay, okay? I got thick skin, all right? And
You were okay to, Ernie, because that's part of your dues that you pay to that association.
right, I was trying to cost cut, okay?
Right.
I don't blame you, I would too. That's what we did.
But that's just kind of like a footnote to the whole thing here. So. So we need a motion and a second in one way, in one direction or another here, okay? And unless people want to talk about it some more.
Make a motion not to pay it.
All right, Joe makes a motion not to pay the bill. Do we have a second? Jim seconds it. All those in favor? All those opposed? Tim Baker is opposed. Motion passes not to pay the bill. Moving on, Tony LaRue is doing a good job, but we only had him on board for a month. And so I'd like to extend him as the interim chief operator for wastewater treatment plant, assistant to the water district operator for another month at $2,000.
And he's all right with that.
Oh, yeah, he's the idea, he came with the idea, he would help us, but he wanted to do it month by month. So he's happy with the first month. I called him on Friday, I have a board meeting, we have a board meeting on Monday. Now's the time to extend it. Before we get to February 6th, and he's fine with this. He's helping us make a lot of improvements. And as the weather gets better, okay, we're gonna have a lot of good ideas. Just a side comment, our DEC supervisor is a guy named William Wade Bastian, okay? And he actually called Tony to see how things were going in the sewage treatment plant. So Tony's kind of respected, okay? And then Wade calls me, so it's like he's hearing things from two different directions, and it's the same thing. Any other questions there? A motion and a second then? All right, Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it. All those in favor? All right, so the employment continues for Tony LaRue through March 5th. Public and board comments.
I just want to bring up the discussion I had with you earlier today about, let's start taking a look at the different policies and updating them. Even if it's not even a matter, if there's nothing that needs to be changed, we make sure that they're most current. And if there's anything else that we need to. Just start, take one at a time and start that. And
Who else was on the policy committee? Jim? Put you down, Cindy. All right, we'll get policies out. And you can start reading.
When do we start taking reservations for the campground?
December 1st. December 1st of 2024.
Do we have an answering machine here when no one's here, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Now, we took it off the brochure because the phone number in the campsite was there. So if they call there, that's
That's right.
that's not connected, okay? They have to call the town number, okay, and talk to Trish or myself, okay? And the answering machine works.
So Ernie, has the voicemail system been deactivated and you went to an old-fashioned answer machine system now?
No, the voicemail, I combined the two. The answering machine and the voicemail is the same thing, okay?
Because we do have a voicemail system and you can check remotely from here at the office. Any messages are left at the number down there
Right.
for the campsite. So, yeah, it's
You might
better
have
to
to
do
show,
that
you might have
because,
to show us, okay?
Yeah.
To make sure there isn't some, because I assume it's turned off down at the campground, but maybe it isn't.
no, it's going 24/7, all year round.
probably a million messages.
Voicemail messages.
Yeah, maybe.
Where's my campsite?
5 years ago.
All right, check voicemail, phone, and registration.
And can you get me the final updates on, have we 100% done everything with the campground, and could you send that to me so I can update the website? Like all rentals, the amounts and everything.
Okay, so you want that brochure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, whatever updated, I know we want to take out the one they originally made had the bridge and everything in it, which we don't have anymore, so really that should be taken out of the brochure for now.
Right.
But, and then if we do find out about the phone number, I can post it on the website that off-season, call this number instead. If we
Yeah.
find that we can't get the other remotes, because I had somebody email me on the website just asking about making reservations for August.
Yeah, the phone number is right on the front page of the
Yeah.
brochure, right down there. That way, what happens is too, when this office functions as solely for the town business, you don't want during the season, calls being coming up here, it should be going down there. And that would be just too much for your account clerk to take care of.
Okay, because August, you're right, August 1st, when the campsite opens,
May
it
1st.
closes,
May.
May 1st, okay? And then it closes at the end of September, all right? It's, all reservations are dealt with down there.
Right.
And then in the winter months, then it's quiet until December 1st.
That's right.
There was people, December 1st was a Sunday, so there were voicemails, and I had voicemails for reservations. And on Monday, we took care of everybody. Because it was a Sunday, so there was nobody there. But took care of it.
Your beavers.
For example, the Rock Hill, well, I checked the Rock Hill cabin from time to time. And it hasn't frozen up, okay, so that's a wonderful thing. That thing's booked, I think almost every day is booked. If somebody calls and wants to get into the Rock Hill, it would, I think it's gone.
There is something, if you did want to check it for water or for electricity going out or heat, I use it at our place in Saranac Lake, it's called a pump alarm. Then you put it inside and it will tell you if there's water, there's a sensor you can buy for water, there's a sensor you can buy for heat. It'll tell you if it drops to a certain level, it text messages you. And then the last thing it does is tells you if the power goes out. So if the power goes out in the studio, I get a message saying the power's gone out. I now know that I have propane heat. I've got to get there if it's not going to come back on. If it drops below a certain level, let's say the power still was on, but the filter in the propane heater is clogged, it'll shut off. It'll tell me it's dropped. And then I bought the extra like $10, $15 sensor. You put it on the floor somewhere where you think water is going to be, and it's basically just a connection. So when the water hits both of those connections, it bridges it, and it sends you a text message saying alert 1 has been activated.
We need
So
that.
whose phone are we gonna put that to?
Yours, 'cause
Negative.
you never sleep.
And you turn yours off, that's why I'm asking. It doesn't do any good to have alarms when you turn yours off.
My phone is on the charger.
Who's in charge of the
But it's in the
campsite?
kitchen, it's not near my bed,
Who's in charge of the campsite?
okay?
So you can get 4 phone numbers too to have it call.
Okay, that's
That was not cool, man. Just saying.
Helping the cause.
So 1, 2, 3. There's plenty of board members here.
300 now.
That's a great device. Because I worry about that.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's a great box. I had it when I used to work at North Country Home Services, and we had them in a couple of our buildings in case it happened. And then I moved on, I got one for myself, and I keep it in the studio because I'm here a lot. So I don't know if the power is going up in Saranac Lake or not. No one can tell me that. And also, having known that those propane heaters, those little slide out ones and the Rainier's ones, if they get too dusty, they'll just shut the whole unit off, and you won't know that it's off.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, they have to add 10 degrees to it. The only thing is they put their 5 to 10 degrees on what you want your warning to be, because they put the temperature sensor inside the unit. And of course, the unit heats up a little bit, so it throws it off by about 5 or 10 degrees.
Thank you. Something we need.
That would be a good thing.
That's a beautiful cabin.
It
It's
is.
just,
Oh, it's, my parents
So
loved it.
so my dream is you can tear down a couple and build a couple more like that. That would just, it's a
was truly a good statement, a dream.
We get a salt and sand shed first.
Although the stairs, they should probably put some kind of a, you know, they have it now, a runner or something.
Right,
'Cause
an
they-
That was supposed to
anti-slip,
be put on,
an anti-slip guard.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay, because when my mom stayed there, she almost did go right down the stairs. It was like, you go with socks feet on the, it used to be the wood.
Wood.
yeah, and it's kind of shiny,
Yeah.
so that's not socks, and that's not.
No.
Those were supposed to have been put on
They may have been.
no, because it would have been
Oh.
right after we built it. Those were supposed to have been put
No, but he said something, so maybe they were put on later in summer.
We'll double check it.
on.
We
Yeah,
should
we
just
should,
put on a, just a,
yeah.
next time we're in the building or something, see. That's the last thing we want is someone coming down there and
Exactly.
through.
Go right out. Onto this side.
Go ahead.
I usually ask you guys, we plan on having a car show on June 7th again this year. Is that all right with the board? Like, the goal was going to say we can't, you know. Is that all right with the board if we do that? Normally, you know, when I ask about it, you guys, okay, fine, that's all I need your blessing to say, yeah, we can have it here.
That's a weekend day, correct, Randy?
Yeah.
It's a Saturday, right?
Saturday on the 7th of June.
If you could, you write up a little letter and give it to us, and
Sure. What do you want me to say on it?
just we're requesting the use of
Okay,
town property on that Saturday for your car show.
okay, I
Right?
can do that.
Just 2 sentences.
All right,
Okay?
good. I've already put in for the grant, so.
We're gonna say yes, but it's better if we have these
Oh,
things in
yeah,
writing.
That's fine, I can do that, no problem.
Writing's a good thing.
I
Okay?
also was curious, you knew up here, what does the beaver control officer do?
So
Roger,
last year, so for many, many years, the highway department fights plugged culverts and beavers. Okay, so we have a beaver nuisance permit from the DEC that allows us to shoot, trap
Okay.
any beaver dams, anything that can flood a road, plug a culvert. So I asked the board to have a professional trapper come in at a fee, where the highway department doesn't have to take an excavator, a backhoe, and go clean culverts on a regular basis. So he actually traps the beavers, sends me pictures when he's trapped them, and then opens the culverts back up. So it literally frees the highway department then up to continue doing their normal road work rather than animal control.
I didn't realize the DEC gave you.
Yep, nuisance
I
permits.
thought that was their job to do that.
every year we have to apply for it. And we file the paperwork with that.
Like $1,500, I wouldn't worry about that, I was just curious what.
So last year, between, when did we get him in? September, August, September? I think.
August, September, we got.
Someplace in there, he trapped 18 beavers on 12 different culverts, which each one of them would have been a half a day for us to load up 2 men, go out, clean the culverts, and then potentially go back the next day, potentially go back the next day, over and over. It's just repetitious waste of time. And if you were to calculate the man hours and the equipment and the fuels and the lost time working on significant projects, $1,500 is chump change in the scheme of things, to be honest.
Just find a new home. Or fair out or something.
It's work.
He's done a wonderful job in my opinion.
Well, he's got the equipment, he's got the expertise, and he's willing to do it.
Can I get Tim to post something on our webpage about snow plowing laws? So I would like you to put on there that it's illegal by state law to
Right.
push snow into a public highway and leave it and or across a
Oh, okay.
public highway. There's several articles to that law, but it starts at Article 1219.
You can take that out, I'll put it in there.
You can look it up and then, yeah, it's for debris, snow removal.
I thought it was roads too, though, in general.
So you can't, it's illegal for any homeowner to push their snow into a public highway or down the highway and not clean it up. If
Right.
put obstructions in the highway, you can be ticketed. First offense is $350, second offense is $700. People think it's
actually
their,
do that?
all the time, we no more than get roads plowed and sanded and pristine, and somebody will come clean the driveway, push it out the road. The snow banks that are across the road here on the South River Road blocking that entrance is because somebody took it upon themselves to plow that stretch of road and leave a pile of snow 3 times in the middle of South
I
River.
wonder why you did that.
Again, I don't care if people
It's always
use it, but they were plowing it and leaving the snow pile in the middle of South River Road. And nobody saw them plowing it, so nobody knows who does it.
Right.
So, again, if you want to use things, have respect for the roads that are maintained. So yes, I literally talked to probably 24 people so far this winter for pushing their snow out the roads or across the roads and leaving those windrows and not cleaning it up.
You have that, when they do across the road, if they've done enough, they literally make an ice patch.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And you just,
Yep. Again, if you get in an accident, you can sue the homeowner for that, or the plow contractor, whoever's responsible. It's illegal to push your snow out of your driveway to anybody's property. So if we can just kind of get that out to the general public, so they got, I mean, snow blowers, they walk it right out, blow it right back in the road, and yeah, it's discouraging at times when you get the roads clean and sanded and you come by and it's a mess. And then people bitch, you know, wow, we didn't clean this up. Well, we did, but. Thank you.
yeah, I'll put that on. I'll actually put it on the front page in the rotating banner, and then I'll put it under highway somewhere too.
Appreciate it.
Who writes the tickets?
State police can show
Who write the
up.
ticket?
Yep.
The code officer doesn't know
Nope,
anything.
it's not a local code. It's a New York State law.
And I didn't think it was highway originally. I thought it was any road,
Any public road.
public road. Right, that's what I thought.
It's not necessarily, I'm just using the highways as a general term, but yes, it's any public road,
Right.
whether it's a dirt road or blacktop road.
Just roads or sidewalks.
We won't push the sidewalk issue with people pushing their snow out on the sidewalks. I mean, we do our best to maintain Main Street and the county roads as far as sidewalks go. People have to push their snow someplace, you know, instead of pushing it straight back, they seem to want to push it down. We try and just don't push it out in the roads where it causes issues.
You denied the payment to Mayville, but you can't tell the public the 3 or 4 reasons. It's a secret. How can you deny and not give the lawful, what laws that he is citing to not pay this bill? You said it was, you couldn't disclose it. How can you not disclose the laws that he's referencing not to make this payment? I mean, the public, in order for the public to determine whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, we need to know the 3 or 4 reasons this attorney says not to pay this bill.
I asked the attorney about, could I read this letter, and he said it's, you know, attorney-client privilege, this letter. And you've got a good point.
Yeah, and I will make a FOIL request to have that letter made public.
That just
You-
means
you-
can
you made a
choose not to say
determination.
It doesn't mean it can't be posted. Am I correct on that? Attorney-client privilege just means that he can't tell anybody unless we
Authorize it.
authorize it. But we can authorize to tell people, here's what the attorney said. I don't think that breaks anything. Basically says, here's the laws, here's what's going on, and
I would agree with Tim on that. See, he can't technically divulge information
Right.
about us, but we can authorize the information to be public if we need to be.
But what he determined not to make the payment on, I mean, that, if you want the public to,
Support
support a decision, the public has to know what the reasons were not to make the payment.
What's the board want to do?
I vote to release the information. Since we're not paying them, people should know why.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's all,
I don't have,
public-
I don't have a problem.
it's all public information.
Mhm.
I mean, it's the law. So,
Right? If he's citing town law, what's the secret?
Well, has Mayville moved on that at all? To start it? Did, like, he want the money? Is that why he came?
He
here
resubmitted
for
a
it.
bill to us, okay, last September, okay?
You know, are you gonna show him this letter?
Well, I'm gonna write him a letter, okay, saying, based on attorney's, okay, advice, we're not paying the bill.
Is it between you and, or the town of Mayville, or is it the whole town involved?
It's the town board.
Well, the town board, but I'm not, if you're gonna make it public to everybody,
Well, this meeting is broadcast, okay, so they, besides you three, there's other people that know what's going on.
we don't know. So,
Yeah, that's what I asked. That's what they're determining, whether the. If you're in doubt, you want to ask the attorney. If you want to wait a month, or whatever you want to do.
I see no reason why it can't be public information. To be honest.
It should be.
They could foil it probably anyways. 'cause
Yeah, you could foil it.
Yeah.
and get it.
I put a motion then to release the information.
Board all approved it.
Let's make it formal, okay? He makes a motion to release the letter from the attorney on this issue. A second? Jill seconds it. All those in favor? I'll be right back.
Next question, well, he's gone. The money went to the highway December 5th and paid back December 18th. Where did the money come from?
Our CHIPS money came in.
Oh, 'cause it wasn't mentioned.
So there was just several factors behind that. We made a lower payment and we missed our deadline for CHIPS back in August for reimbursement, so they held it till December. So there was $37,000 that we anticipated on having back in September's payout that never showed up. So we had a little over 17,000 in the account and we needed 18,400 to make that payroll for them 2 weeks with the buyout, insurance buyouts and so on, which is an extremely high one compared to a normal.
The website.
Yes.
or cancel,
So
or raise and possibly.
we borrowed money. 2 weeks later, my CHIPS money came in.
And if anything was going on there, just tell me. You know? I mean, that's what it's for. It's the,
If Mayville takes this to court, how much it's gonna cost the town?
Make it nice down and build some more.
Yep.
Fire pits and.
if all the minutes and everything actually go to a Google
No, that's
site, they actually
Yeah.
have a shared documents and they put all the stuff in there.
Mayville
We
pursues
could
it.
get promotions and stuff.
Which is like,
And I think we get policies, people put them in there too, so the public can see.
now you gotta hire.
How big it is.
Right.
Free chocolate chip cookies.
How much is it? How much do you want?
I'm not sure. My last question is, This has been a beautiful, beautiful winter for ice. We've had one day the first day in January, started out at about 40 degrees, and then it went down from there. We've had one day in all of January so far where the temperature's been up to 38 degrees, and it was only up there for about 5 or 6 hours a week ago Saturday. Perfect year for ice. I mean, it's, and Alan Tower, when he gave $80,000 to put that building down there, he gave that 80,000 for it, and his intention and what he gave it for was to have a skating rink. Because a few years ago, I was down there driving, and he pulled up, there was nobody skating, and he said, you know, during Christmas vacation, he said, I thought some kids would be down here skating. But we've had close to, 26 days now of perfect weather to maintain ice down at the skating rink.
I know.
And we have no ice. I don't know if the kids would use it. They go down there. But this has been the perfect winter to have a skating rink.
I gotta find the help to help me do it. I can't do it by myself,
I know that.
okay? You know, the place needs to be shoveled out, okay? We need to probably plow around the place so there's some parking.
You need to put that, is there
And there's a liner, okay, and I'm not sure where the liner is, okay? The liner's gotta be put down. The fire department will flood it for me, okay, but I gotta get it, you know, get the snow off and get the liner down, okay? And then they'll come.
Yeah,
And then I gotta find post hours and have some sort of supervision too.
Oh, you don't need supervision.
We
Yeah,
didn't
I'm gonna
before.
require supervision, I wouldn't think.
We didn't before.
I
You
think
just
there
have-
was,
You have to post some safety guidelines
Right.
and stuff, otherwise we're open to lawsuits. I mean, we're open to lawsuits
Yeah,
anyway.
you'd have to post.
What about the Waverly Youth
No,
Council?
nobody.
well, I was gonna see if I could approach them to help me. They did post rules because there was they had little nets and there was hockey time. You can't have skaters
And hockey.
in hockey.
That's it, that was years ago when you had a lot of kids in town. That was a number of years ago when the kids used to go down there and play hockey, and then
There was
people
times.
that wanted to skate, and you had a lot larger population of younger people, 20 years ago. I would say it was at least 20 years ago, maybe even longer than that, when they used to.
It was when my kids were little.
They had the skating, right?
It was 100 years.
Thanks, Doug.
So I would say, you know, there was nights I'd walk Murphy and they were, I'm gonna say within the last 5-7 years, there were hours for the hockey people and then hours for the skaters. It wasn't 20 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago. So,
But
but you're right, you might not have that conflict.
No, I mean, it's not that hard if you're gonna say, okay, we're gonna have, if someone does want hockey, okay, 7 to 8 hockey. That's the ice skating.
yeah, and it's something you should keep track of. It's just like that beach over there. I don't think anybody keeps track of the amount of kids that use that on a day, each day. How many kids are over there for swimming lessons? How many kids use that beach compared to what the amount of money you spend? It should be the same way on anything. You should weigh what you're spending on the usage.
Holly Frazier had numbers every day. As the head lifeguard, she had numbers every day for the beach. And then the lessons were more, I think, on Saturday mornings.
But she knew on that too. I mean,
I'm sure I never asked her for those numbers.
Yeah, that's
When I
something,
knew total population and using the beach in a day, I was kept track of.
but, I mean, the board isn't aware of those numbers. I mean, that's something you should look at each year. Same way, if you have a skating rink, somebody go down there once in a while, check, see if there's on a decent day or night, whether it's being used or. So that's all I got.
Just for the people who are online, I'm gonna read the last paragraph, okay, of the attorney's letter. And it's on the second page. Given the above issues, the violation of the 2011 procurement policy, the potential public bidding, the potential public bidding issues, the lack of a 284 agreement, and the conflict of interest under General Municipal Law, Article 18, I believe that the contract with Mayville is void and unenforceable, and that the town should not pay the same. And then the first page covers all of those different issues. Are we done, folks? Oh, sorry, Corey.
As town historian, I'd like to thank everyone for their support of the Fifth Day of Christmas Festival back on December 29th. We had 16 people that came out for that. We had carols, refreshments, 5 historical items that were featured in between each of the songs, so that we had a little bit of information that people were able to learn about the local history, so it tied that in too. And we talked about the Eastbrook Tub Factory that was in existence at one point. D'Angelo's home in Dickinson as well was brought an item to share to tell about that. That originally came from the Cobby Estate, which also was part of the town of Dickinson, but also influenced our town financially. And then as well, we had the steam engine clock that was donated by Larry Palmer, and taps from up at Palmer's Farm as well as part of our exhibits. Those were some of the items that were featured there. And also the Robbie Haynes gave us back our theater currently used to be in Tryon's Movie Theater here. It was dated 1934, and now it has a backdrop, an inset image of the river and the woods and the pinnacle. And you can also see along the outer perimeter ads for each of the businesses that sponsored that curtain. And it's approximately 16 feet tall by 24 feet wide, so it's a substantial thing. It has a little bit of water staining damage to it, but it's still in pretty good shape for being as old as it is. And so that's another thing that we're hopefully going to get restored down the road, put in a grant for that, so we'll see if that's possible. And then also I've applied for another grant, and also 2 others are coming up, so we're working on things for the festival in the fall. And then also Justice Martin, our district legislator, came to the the Fifth Day of Christmas Festival as well. So he was very excited to see that the town has taken an interest, trying to draw in and do things for people of all ages. So he's got our support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Any update on the dog control officer?
I'm working on it. A motion a second to adjourn. Joe makes the motion. Jim seconds it. All those in favor? All right. Meeting's adjourned.